Krett? Really, Krett? Oh my god.
Yo, what up? He's Tom, I'm Krett,
Yo.
and I don't really have any good segues this time, so it's gonna be another awkward segue week. And, dude, once a month, I have a good segue. Yeah, no, it's the, hey Tom, I got you a present.
What?
I didn't get you a present, that's why it's an awkward segue week. But in about 3 weeks, I'll have another present for you.
And what will that be?
It'll be a monthly sub.
Oh, right, I remember that from last week.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, see? So we do that every month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You look nice today. You did something in your hair?
I'm wearing a hat, Krett.
No, but like I see like the little like this is on the side.
Oh, yeah.
See?
So that was actually really funny. So for so long, I've always gone into the barber and been like, all right, look, I always kind of do the same shit with my hair. Let's do something different. And the response is always the same. It's always, oh, well, you pay for your haircut. I don't want to screw it up, so no. You know, nobody ever wants to take a chance. And so I went to a really nice place this time. I really enjoyed it. And the girl, I said, hey, yeah, do something different. She was like, how different? And I was like, look, I don't want a mohawk, but do something different. She said, okay. And so we did something different.
Sweet. So are you gonna wear a hat during all SPL broadcasts?
No, I've had this haircut for like a couple of weeks now.
Really? I haven't noticed because I don't watch any of the games you cast. So, moving on from there, the last time I went to a barber, he sold me a trimmer, and then that was 4 years ago, and I've been shaving my head ever since. Which is really, it was $60 4 years ago. I save a lot of fucking money. I highly recommend being bald if you're poor.
I mean, maybe, but that's a route you could go, I guess.
If you listen, if the only thing you do for fun is play WoW, and you're bald and you shave your own head, you save a lot of money.
I can see where you're coming from in that regard.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Economic strategies, boys. We're teaching everyone today on really. So what do we have on the docket?
I mean, I guess we could look at last week's games. Week number 8 is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Epsilon is now, they are qualified. They are clinched as the number 1 seed for Europe going into Super Regionals. So
Unbelievable. Couldn't have seen that one coming. Like,
yeah,
Epsilon have really stepped up their game since the beginning of the split.
I mean,
I keep thinking they're gonna lose. I bet against them every week. It's a real underdog story.
Oh yeah, totally. They seem so. I can't keep this up, man. They're just so good.
Yeah, they are so good.
They're really good. They're really strong. I don't even think that a lot of the times the story is in Europe that they're strong relatively. I think Epsilon's actually just strong.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm from NA and I'm biased, unlike you, I'm going to say that the top NA teams are on par, if not better than Epsilon.
Ooh.
But they're good. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're super strong. They'll be number 1. And, I mean, the rest of their season is Epsilon plays Myrmidons, Epsilon plays Justice. That was last week. And then now they face off against Titan on a downslope. What happened to Titan?
Dude, they've been going downhill since Worlds.
Yeah.
It was since Coach stopped coaching and Ataraxia started solo laning. And they've just kind of progressively gotten worse.
Is that causation? Or just
I mean, that's when it started, so maybe.
Yeah.
Like, both of those decisions were kind of like, eh. But, because, like, so the first thing about Captain Coach that I'm not sure everyone understands is he's like the sports psychologist style of coach, right? Where he's going to make sure that everyone's getting along. And that can do a lot for a team. So maybe not having that has negatively impacted their play, or maybe it doesn't fucking matter. And the second thing is that Ataraxia is a godlike hunter, so why the fuck would you put him in solo?
Well, to be fair, when Ataraxia moved over to solo at first, there's a lot of hunters being played in that lane.
Yeah. But, like, then Hunter stopped being played in that lane, which isn't exactly surprising. It's a solo lane. It's
Duh.
90% warriors. Like throughout Smite's
Yep.
history, it's like mostly warriors, but every so often you can play mages or assassins or guardians or whatever. But it's usually warriors. So when it went
Yep.
back to warriors, he was like, "Fuck, I'm a hunter player. I guess I'll play Hades." And like,
GG.
it just didn't make sense
Yeah, it hurts.
because he's so good. He's so good as a hunter.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
Ataraxia is so good as a hunter for sure. But I don't know. Going into the soul lane, now you've got Brodus. He's been all right. How do you feel about him? Have you gotten a chance to watch some of those?
I think the team's just gonna readjust and they'll come back now that Nate is back in his proper role.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
TSM sort of snapped back into it once they swapped roles back to the original
Yeah,
spots.
dude. So first of all, Bickham plays Sobek. He's literally a crocodile that they gave a keyboard.
So Bickham.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think he kind of got lucky in that, like, a character he's really good at is really good right now. When he, first is starting to play for TSM. That's really lucky. It doesn't always happen. Which,
And I mean,
honestly,
like-
kind of was the same situation for Ataraxia when we went to solo. It's like, he got really lucky that Hunter solo was a thing at the time.
Yep. Do you think? What do you know about What do you know about Beckham's play outside of Sobek? Does he have a good god pool?
We'll have to see. I mean, we've already
Yeah.
played TSM this split, like,
Word.
yeah. So we'll see what happens later on, and you know, need more
What do
time.
you mean? Oh, okay.
Well, it's just like it's possible that we play TSM at regionals, right? So like,
Right.
yeah, we're keeping an eye on the team, but we're also more concerned with Envy and Denial and Elevate because we play them to get to regionals.
True. That's very true. So, Envy. I mean, are you guys still scrim partners?
Currently we are not scrimming Envy for like today, and then
Because you face off against them.
right. So
Word. That's interesting. So is that
yeah,
always how it goes
honestly,
down, or just 'cause
it's
the end of the
how
season?
we've done it. Honestly, I am not the biggest fan, but whatever. It's weird either way, right? Like it's weird to break Scrim partnership for like 3 days because I mean we play them. We're one of the weekday SPL games, right? So like, it's not a long break, but at the same time, it's weird to keep scrimming someone and be like, okay, so we're gonna have this secret strategy that we haven't used in scrims against them, but we think it'll work, and then you pull that out in the game, and you're like, "Aha, gotcha!" It's like it's weird either way. It's just unavoidably weird.
That is pretty weird. I mean, yeah,
It's
there's really
honestly, I
nothing-
think it's more fine when you just like if you hit them in a tournament, like if we played Envy then AFK in the finals of Gears of Fate. It's like, that's fine. It's like, hey, scrim partners, meet up in the finals, do our thing. And, you probably have something that you've been thinking about would be good against them, but, like,
right.
it's weird, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's pretty strange. That's pretty fun, though. So, can you tell us who you've been scrimming?
I
I mean, is that a secret? Is that like,
I don't know.
technically
I
a
don't think
secret?
it's a secret. We've been scrimming against Cloud9, and I think Envy is scrimming. I think it's either TSM or Enemy. I'm not sure.
Word. Yeah. Well, that's
But it's
cool. So-
weird, right? Because so Envy is obviously the dominant NA team right now. So when Envy temporarily breaks their scrim partnership, all of the scrims in North America get messed up.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, if Envy's like, yo, you want to scrim? You're like, yeah, all right, fuck scrimming COG or Elevate or TSM or whoever. Yeah, let's scrim Envy. This will be great practice, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
and so then the person who's scrimming Envy, the people who scrim them now have to find someone else. So it just gets it messed up for everyone. It's really funny.
Well, I mean, that's rough stuff for you, I guess. But...
Nah, we're fine with it. I mean, Omega was just like, yo, Barracuda. Because, I mean, connections, man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys get to cut the line because
That's right. And we like just played them, right? So it's not like, oh, like we want to like, I don't know. It's scrimming C9 is fine, you know. Like we just played them. There's a chance we play them at regionals, but it'll be like 4 weeks.
This is so interesting to me.
Okay.
So you guys make sure to, your Scrim partners are outside of Scrim partners. You're not very. You play all your sort of strategies close to the chest. I mean, how secretive is that stuff? Like, is it super top secret? Nobody can know except for our team. And
it's
I guess
more
we have to...
that you just don't want to get screwed.
Yeah,
because Scrim partnership is a relationship of mutually assured destruction. Now, if they screw you, you can screw them back, right? Like if they're like, yeah. Or if you find out that like your Scrim partners told someone else their strategies, well, it's like, all right, well, we have the same information for them, you know? So it's just sort of like you trust them because they're trusting you, and then it's fine. Whereas if you go and scrim everyone, what's to stop them from being like, oh yeah, they played this, this, and this in scrims with like their friends, you know?
Right.
You don't have that relationship. You don't have that trust. So Scrim partnership is good not only because you get consistent practice and you like start to go somewhere and learn a little bit more about the game and the meta, but like there's a level of commitment that makes you less likely to screw each other over.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's a mutual investment almost, where you guys are trying to get better. Yeah, that's interesting. So how small of a league would it have to be for there not to be Scrim partnerships? Like if there was only 4 teams in the league?
There's 4 teams, you generally have the top 2 are a Scrim partnership, and they're literally there just to maintain their 1 and 2 seed. There's no reason for them to scrim 3rd place, because 3rd place is the one that's catching up to them. They're just going to scrim 1 and 2, and they're going to stay there, and they're going to be the 2 best. And then everyone else probably won't have Scrim partnerships, because they're probably fighting for 3 and 4, if those are the numbers that are relevant. So you'd have, like, 3rd place is going to scrim, like, Challenger 4, or the 1st place Challenger team, or whatever. Or, maybe teams start looking at cross-region scrims, which are a cool idea, but with the ping, it sort of messes with things a little bit.
You guys should scrim Brazil.
It has to, like, I don't know, it just sort of sucks, right? Because, like, there's ping involved. So either we're lagging or they're lagging. Not only that, but, like, Latin America and Brazil are catching up to North America and Europe, but they're not there yet. So you're just teaching them. And, like, why would I, as a team in North America and Brazil that's going to, hopefully get to Worlds, teach competition for, at the very least, my region and possibly myself?
Right. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough, man. I mean... That's such an overlooked thing, I feel like.
Yeah, teaching people?
Esports.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
Or, no, but I mean, practice. I mean, like, you can... In other games, you can... well, I guess just sports. Esports isn't at that level where there's that many talented folks.
Right.
But, like, in sports, like, you don't have to worry about that because you generally have a backup for every position at least, so you wind up just
so you scrim yourself. Yeah.
You don't have 10 people on eager.
Well, esports
you guys should scrim the Xbox squad.
No.
You guys, yes, dude, you guys should scrim the Xbox squad. Nobody would know your secrets. It'd be great.
Well, I mean that's true, but no.
Just scrim the Xbox team.
Yeah, you know what? We'll hook them up. We'll hook up Xbox controllers to their PCs, and then they'll do that, and then we'll just turn faster than them, and we'll run around spinning our mouses around, and then they'll get really jealous.
But so you make them better, right?
Yeah.
So you teach them a little bit. You get good practice. Nobody knows your strats, and as a brand, Eager starts winning Xbox stuff because they're learning from you guys. Dude, hire me. I've got your business plan. Scrim your Xbox team.
Honestly, if it was like actually even footing,
are you?
Yeah, they're a patch behind.
You're not afraid of Air Cougar? Come on.
No,
now.
I am afraid of Air Cougar.
Yeah, you should be.
Not only is he a predatory cat, he's also pretty cute. But
Nah,
they're a
he's
patch
gonna
behind.
beat you up. Air Cougar.
They're a
gonna
patch
beat you up.
behind. So there you go.
That's no. I think you're just afraid of your Xbox team.
I am. Yeah,
You're
Air
just
Cougar is
afraid
scary.
of your Xbox team.
I am. Dude, Nas, their coach, like, he's got way more hair than me. I don't know what to do about it. I think I haven't beat on facial hair, though.
I don't know about that.
I don't think he really has that much facial hair.
I'm not too sure.
Anyway. So sticking with our Scrim partnership.
I created a problem.
What? What's your problem? What did you do?
I went to some website that like gave me a fake virus, and I couldn't close the tab.
Correct.
That was problematic. Oh well. I think you're just afraid of your Xbox team. But that's neither here nor there. Well, I guess it's here. It's very here. It's very present because you're afraid of your Xbox team.
Yeah, no, totally.
Who's
I'm
on
not.
this
I'm
team?
not. God.
Let me see. You got Air Cougar.
Uh huh.
You got. Oh, okay. I know you got Dwarfs and you got Air Cougar.
Yeah, and
you got Matt Coys. I saw Matt Coys in chat.
Yep.
And you got a guy named Jelly and a guy named
Yeah,
Sam
Jelly.
Bam.
Yeah. Jelly and Sam Bam. And I'm pretty sure that Jelly, Dwarfs, and Air Cougar have been like on the team for a long time, whereas Sam Bam and Matt Coys are like newer to the squad. And also, I'm excited to see what they can do at the New Orleans. It's coming up. New Orleans.
So production needs to bring some stuff. I don't know what stuff, but because of that, Peckies and Brad are driving to New Orleans instead of flying.
Which sounds hilarious.
Is it Hi-Rez Pecky? It is hilarious, and you can like. I was looking at the Snapchat. Peckies has been Snapchatting their trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just Peckies, Peccyz on Snapchat, and like it's him and Brad.
Dude, I'm adding him right now.
On a road trip, listening to terrible music. Peckies. It's basically like 2 minutes of Peckies harassing Brad in 10-second spurts. It's absolutely hilarious.
Peckies is hilarious.
Peckies is one of my favorite people at Hi-Rez. Like, period. And top 10 people in Smite community.
Yeah, he's super nice.
Oh, they could have flown the equipment, but Brad decided that he wants to stick around and drive. Well, oh well.
Word.
I mean, some people don't like flying if you can avoid it. And
dude, like, what do you even do, right? Like, your boss is just like, yo, you want to drive to New Orleans? Like, no. That sucks. We're driving.
Yeah, I mean... Pecky's is probably fine with it, though. Pecky's is a good guy. Pecky's a good guy. Enjoying it. Like I said, you gotta check out that Snapchat stuff. Yeah. They're having a lot of fun. But they're on their way to New Orleans, where there's going to be the MLG competition going on. And that'll basically, I don't know all the details, but that'll feed into a pro league of some sort, which will feed into Worlds. Actually. Yeah,
and there's an Xbox Day at Worlds, right?
Yeah, there should be a couple, if I'm not mistaken.
Sweet.
There's going to be, so Xbox gets their Xbox as a, what's the number? Is it 100,000 or 10,000?
I think it was 100.
100,000. That's what I thought.
Yeah, 10,000 would not be that much.
So that's a decent amount of money. Shit,
yeah,
that's what the original launch tournament started at.
That's right.
It went up to 212,000. I know, but it started at 100K, and so that's pretty exciting for Xbox. And you know who played their first Xbox tournament recently?
Who?
Shing.
I heard about that.
He did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good at video games, and he knows the ins and outs of Smite. So
yeah, and so
honestly, like Xbox is a really good answer for players who are roster locked on PC. Not because like, oh, you couldn't make it on PC, go play Xbox. No, like he's just roster locked, so fuck it. Get to Worlds another way.
It's funny. I actually there'll be an interview coming out pretty soon with myself and Shing. I just tossed him a couple of questions. Not really an in-depth interview, but he said, look, no matter what, I'm going to go to Worlds. Whether I'm this was before he played on Xbox.
Yeah.
He's like, Smite. I plan on attending the event whether I'm playing or not. Smite's a part of my life, and no matter what happens competition-wise, I love the community and game. And I think that like really nails.
Yeah.
Shing, he's just like, look, that sucks. With it, because I asked him flat out. I was like, are you switching to Xbox because of like you feel like you're not as good as you once were on PC or whatnot? And he didn't exactly answer the question, but he responded with a very similar like, look, dude, I want to do Smite. I'm roster locked, and I can't not do Smite. So I'll play Xbox Smite.
Yeah, why not, man?
Which I thought that was awesome because I don't know. It's kind of rare to see, and I'm not asking every pro to be super infatuated with the game and blah blah blah. I'm not asking for that, but it's cool to like see a kid or see a dude where like I 100% believe Shing enjoyed all of his SPL games.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it sucks when
maybe when you're feeding uncontrollably.
Right, it sucks when you're feeding, but I think he legitimately enjoyed the game.
Enjoys playing competitively. Yeah.
And I always get refreshed when I see that, like in whether it's baseball or basketball.
Have you heard about
games.
Shing's Xbox keybinds though?
Oh my god, what does he hold the controller upside down?
No, all of his abilities are on the D-pad.
Are you serious? You're not serious.
I'm not serious, but I mean probably.
But
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Shing's probably like, how did you know?
I mean, Shing probably plays like with
Dude, he plays with a wheel.
with the steering wheel, the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Oh man, I always thought maybe he plays with a DDR pad. You think?
Oh man, so I saw a picture of an old tribes LAN where this guy shows up with instead of WASD, he has a joystick, right? Okay. And instead of a mouse, he has a trackball.
Okay.
He's playing joystick and trackball.
You know what? Joystick and trackball tribes would probably be just
it would feel like you're flying a fucking plane. Like,
oh my god.
I'm surprised planes don't actually you know what? Considering how much shit's in a cockpit, there's probably a trackball in there somewhere.
You know what I really want to see somebody play Smite with?
Trackball.
I'm gonna link it in chat.
A Neo Geo.
This was a controller for the release of a Resident Evil game, if I'm not mistaken. This is how Shing plays Smite.
On the Xbox, yeah.
Is a GameCube to Xbox adapter.
Dude, Nintendo controllers are so whack.
It's so funny because for the longest time, Nintendo had shitty games for like, we're a family console. Yeah. And then they release a chainsaw covered in blood as a controller peripheral. Like,
Nintendo controllers, man. I didn't grow up with the N64. I had a PlayStation. Right. So I'd go to my friend's house and be like, oh, let's play video game. I'm like, okay. And they hand me a N64 controller. I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this? How do I hold this?
It's so funny. That controller is like one of the most celebrated controllers in the world, and I don't have enough hands to hold all joysticks.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck is this? Everyone loves it, and I'm just like, I don't.
I mean, it's comfortable. It's just like I always feel.
It's weird. There's yeah, exactly. Who was deciding this was like, you know what we need? A third hand grip.
Well, it's like they couldn't decide. They like made a controller with a joystick, and they were like, people might not be able to adjust. And they took the controller and they went.
Yeah,
it's just 3, and you're like, oh well. If you don't like the joystick, you can hold the thing, and if you don't like the thing, you hold the joystick, and okay. And they just hit go. Like, no,
yeah.
It wasn't the most elegant solution, but it did the job, right? Like,
I guess. And then like, PlayStation was just like, but what if you put the joystick next to the D-pad?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was it? It was the PlayStation 2 where they wanted to release that banana controller, and everyone was just like, no. You're not giving us a fucking banana.
That was the 3, the one that looked.
Oh, was it the 3? Yeah. It looked like
the
boomerang or the banana. It was ridiculous.
Because it was, it was trying to.
I would have wanted to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like every time a new controller comes out, everyone hates it. That's just how
I mean,
it works.
everybody
Remember when
got
the
on
Xbox controller came out and everyone was like, "This thing's too big. How do I hold this?"
Well, no, everybody still is like that. That thing is the size of a triple quarter pounder with cheese. Like you pick
Now
up
you're
that
just making me hungry, dude.
Dude, you pick up that controller and you get a workout.
Actually, the real problem is that when you have the controller and you have your double quarter pounder with cheese next to it, sometimes you get confused.
No, I mean, like, seriously, that controller was, I mean, you had to.
It was big.
You were
Not
hungry.
as big as the Wii U controller thing.
Which thing?
The Wii U like thing with the screen on it.
Oh, the
literally
Nintendo
just
pad?
a tablet with fucking a joystick on it. Like, who's supposed to hold that?
I feel like their prototype. I feel like their prototype in Nintendo was they just had a tablet. They used like a Galaxy Tab or something.
No, you know what? They had an iPhone 4 Plus. And they're
Yeah.
like, yo, what if we put a controller on this? Or is it an iPhone 5? Or an iPhone 6?
Well,
I forget.
well-
Whatever the big one that bends, they just put a joystick on that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like they just had it, and then people were like, you know, I like the tablet functionality, but I feel like I don't have enough control over the game. And they're like, hey, remember when we took a controller and just superimposed a third wing onto it?
Yeah.
Yo, let's put 2 wings on it. It was like,
It's so
Alright.
funny, man, because like every time there's a new console announced or something, it's like PlayStation and Microsoft are doing roughly the same thing, but there's like some slight differences, and someone's probably gonna win. Right now, PS4 is winning, I think, over the Xbox One, 360. I forget what order they're counting in. And then Nintendo's just like, yo, look at this weird shit we made. Like, it's just completely unrelated.
yeah, that's always Nintendo. They're just always doing weird shit.
Yeah,
they
are.
linked
You know what's weird is their consoles and controllers are always innovative, if you can call it that. And then they just keep making the same fucking Mario game.
Well, yeah, and then you know, most recently they're just like, you know what? You fucking do it. And Mario Maker has sold millions of copies.
Yo, what if we just took the thing we take to make Mario levels and just sold that? All right, just wait 6 months so it looks like we actually built a game out of it.
Yeah, man, and it's been killing it. That's you know, the creative side of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. At who is it? I think Ultra David made the Battle of Verdun in Mario Maker.
Oh God, of course, yeah,
Of course he did, but it's actually
course
like
you know about
artistic.
it.
Yeah, it's artistic, man. It makes you think.
you guys should go do like Minecraft philosophy or something together.
What? Dude, he's a lawyer.
I know, but you're a
Who plays
philosopher.
fighting
You guys
games?
Get along.
I think that's probably. I hope so.
You know, you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Does that mean Smash is not the only competitive platformer? Well, sure. I mean, there's Rivals of Ether and stuff, but is Mario Maker competitive?
Well, you know what? There's the Nintendo World Championships with that Mario level. Did you see that?
I did.
It was so cool.
I mean,
It was cool,
so
except
cool
it
as
wasn't.
subjective.
It was pretty cool, except it was a really bad race because, like, the one guy just got completely destroyed. Like, he just couldn't get past the first jump.
This doesn't sound entertaining at all, Krett.
It was really cool because they just had this level that no one had ever seen before, and they're like, "All right, it's a speed run. Just run this level. You've never seen it before." And like the actual speedrunner got wrecked, and like the Smash player like just destroyed him. It was something.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know how competitive
It's an
it is.
esport, man.
You think it's going to be an esport?
No.
It's going to be. Is it going to be a?
All right. What do you think about this new thing of like games trying to be esports? Because Smite esports was, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was like Hi-Rez, who owns the company, was just like, you know what? I want to watch people play Smite on the weekends. Just $1,000 every week.
That
was like pretty much what happened.
I mean, similar. Yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was just Bart's idea that was like, hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
Because they did it with tribes, and they were like, why don't we just do it Smite?
Yeah.
But
and it just sort of became a thing organically.
Exactly. And so I think becoming an esport is weird because it's similar to like, I don't know. I just feel like it's very easy to force it, and when you force it, it's just too.
When you force it, you get Infinite
actually
Crisis. Infinite Crisis was just throwing money at people, and even the pros were like, "Yeah, we just play this game for the money."
Yeah, it was just so very interesting, and when you take a look at games that really force their esport, it doesn't. Those are the games that you kind of forget about, but you take a look at a game like. I think Rocket League is really the great example.
And Hearthstone, I'd say.
Hearthstone, sure. Blizzard always skews things, right?
Yeah, that's true. They've got so much money that it just makes everything weird.
So, like, it almost... I feel like Blizzard did force esports a little bit with
I feel like
Hearthstone.
Blizzard forced esports out of WoW Arenas. Which is weird, because WoW Arenas is, like, the most esportsy thing they have, aside from, obviously, StarCraft.
You know, I feel you. I think Blizzard has forced both WoW Arena and Hearthstone. Yeah. And one is successful and the other's not.
I actually really like watching WoW Arena tournaments. I just like...
You and the other 7 people?
Yeah. Well, they're interesting, but they're also sometimes just really boring because that's the nature of WoW Arena. It's like sometimes it's like exciting and... You know, someone's about to die, but they don't, and it's really cool, because, like, it is basically the first person to die loses, right? Yeah. So, like, they get really low, but, oh, they recover, and that's cool. And sometimes it's just nobody's taking damage for 20 minutes.
Well, that's the problem.
That's WoW Arenas.
You wait 20 to 25 minutes whenever the healing debuff kicks in, and then you actually fight.
And they actually made it
Everlast
to the point where the healing debuff actually gets to 100% at this point. Like, there's a point where you literally cannot heal.
And it's important because WoW Arenas, I mean, that's what it is. Most comps are just like these, you get a Resto Shaman or Resto Druid that you can't kill, and they just...
Well, and that's just sort of the problem of healing in any sort of MOBA game, right? Like,
sure.
If healing is stronger than damage, nobody dies.
But so, and that sort of speaks to what I'm talking about in the sense that, like, WoW Arena is a very niche audience. I mean, they're like sub 10,000 numbers for viewers as far as like some of the bigger end events. And a lot of that is because if you don't play the game, it's too complicated to really, even as like casting it is a pain because with Smite, you can sort of paraphrase, if you will. Where, like the fight starts off of the tank's initiation, CC ability, big damage, CC, cleanup. Right?
And the abilities actually like look like things. Thor throws his hammer, Poseidon summons a kraken or a shark if he has the cool skin.
Sure.
Which he doesn't in Smite Esports. Which I think, let's talk about that today. But in WoW Arenas, it's like, oh, he used... I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, really? Because I can't see that graphic. Because the game's designed for raiding. And so the graphics aren't super noticeable like they are in Smite, where you have 10 players in the entire game. Whereas in raids, you have 25 players in a very small area. So you want to be able to kind of see what the fuck is going on.
Well, yeah, and also the fact that win conditions in Smite are general fights that happen with, like, macro execution, which is easy to watch from an outsider perspective and easy to communicate from a caster to a viewer. Whereas the micro execution that comes out of WoW Arena, I mean, WoW Arenas are won because the healing reduction has reached the perfect point and the stars align with their trinket is on cooldown, their beads are on cooldown, and your large 5-minute cooldowns are off cooldown, and you've timed this from 18 minutes ago, and because of, like, there's so many domino effects that you have to, the win conditions are very micro. It's hard to convey that to a viewer. Exactly. And so Blizzard has put a lot of money into this and whatnot, but it remains inclusive. Whereas Hearthstone, I mean, it's aimed as a casual game, and you can play it at a top level.
On your tablet or phone.
Yeah. And it attracts as far as players are concerned. I mean, lifelong Magic the Gathering players, like Pro Tour players,
Yeah.
wind up playing Hearthstone, and other just randos wind up playing Hearthstone, and the breadth of people that play is so big and it's inviting. So when money goes to Hearthstone, it's forced, I guess, is the technically correct term, but there's an audience to be forced upon.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know. It's sort of like fertilized, right? Like, it was gonna grow anyway, but they just poured money into it.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly perfect. And I think that you can see that situation when it comes to, I mean, maybe Smite's a good example of that, where, like, yeah, the scene, quote unquote, didn't grow organically like a fighting game community or a Counter-Strike scene, where you have all of these smaller, like,
Sure.
or even Dota, like Beyond the Summit and all these little sub-companies throwing community tournaments, right? It's very much top-down from the developer on, but, like, Smite's a really tough competitive game that has all sorts of appeal. I'm sure if we waited years that would happen, but
Maybe, yeah.
it was fertilized. You know what I mean?
It was fertilized, sure. You know the other thing though, and I think why it's not sort of like, so when Infinite Crisis was a thing, and they were attempting to not even fertilize it, but they were attempting to buy their way into esports, it wasn't going to succeed, and it wasn't even useful. Whereas I think like WoW Arena as esports is at least useful because it creates viewership for World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is like it's a really good MMO. A lot of people play it, but the viewership opportunities are weird because, like, it's like progression rating when that's a thing, which it often isn't because it's a race, and then someone wins the race and then it goes away. And then arenas, and those are like the competitive top-end hardcore things, and then after that it's just like watching a dude play Pokemon in WoW or whatever, which is totally dope, but it's a different style of stream. So it just creates another outlet for competitive streamers in that game, which I think is cool. I want to talk. So League of Legends Worlds is underway, and I mean, there's some cool storylines I've been watching. I think it's cool, but one of the most interesting things I've taken away from that is I actually really like the no skins thing in Smite, because I watched League of Legends Worlds and I have no I played League of Legends. I quit Wrath of the Lich King so I could play League of Legends instead because I was having more fun with it, right?
Well, yeah, everybody would.
Yeah, exactly. Because I got to Arthas and my guild was trash, and I like AFK'd through the fight and then wiped over and over and over while main tanking. Anyway, so what was I even talking? Oh yeah, skins. Right. Like I have some sort of understanding of League. I've watched it enough that I sort of like know what Thresh does, even though I've never played a game as Thresh. Yeah, exactly. And like I played it a while ago, so like I know how Sona works and Soraka works and Sivir works, and I know their names and stuff. But when you throw a skin into the mix, or throw the possibility of skins in the mix, because then you can have a character with one theme change their theme. So, like, a character that's Moonlight based, like Diana, could potentially have a robotic theme because of a skin.
Ooh.
I don't know that, because I don't know what the skins in the game are. So when I see a circle, which I think is an ability that Diana has, but it's robotic, I'm like, oh, is that Diana? No, it's Victor. And then I just get confused. Because, like, there are skins, and they're in Smite 2, that change the theme of the champion, or the theme of the god. Well, yeah, I was talking about League of Legends, theme of the god in Smite. And that can become very confusing, right? Whereas, like, if Poseidon, I know, is going to do water-based abilities, when I see a water thing, I'm like, oh, it's Poseidon. I'm not going to get him confused with anyone but Habwa. Potentially.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's always been the thought process, is when I supported the rule change, because of course it's something that we like talked about or whatever, just like all rule changes.
Wait, you mean rule changes aren't made by Bart just walking in wearing flip-flops going, I think we should up the fines?
Well, he does wear the flip-flops.
He does wear the flip-flops, see? I know what I'm talking about.
I just remember it was something that we were very like, I mean, we did some numbers on how it affects the sales or whatnot.
Sure.
But one of the things I said, I was like, look, I have a basic understanding of Dota. I played it before, right? And they were all just putting out the same champions, and like, I don't know what some of these gods do, because like they look like Santa Claus instead of whatever the fuck, you know?
Sure.
And that's really, you know, my experiences. I've always watched League from the outside in. I've never been heavy into it, but like, I enjoy the spectacle of it all.
But you don't know really what basketball Darius does.
Exactly.
Because he's got like a basketball hoop, and you're like, what? I didn't know he bled people until they said he bleeds people. Whereas like if he has a big sword, I'm like, maybe he's bleeding people. It robs the casual viewer of the intuitive understanding of the game. That said, since Smite does have tier 2 skins, like, it would be cool to allow those, because so Dota has like chests and like gambling and individual items, but Dragon Knight is still going to look like Dragon Knight. He's a dude who's kind of red-orange in plate armor, and you can change the plate armor, and that's really cool. But he's still a dude who's red/orange in plate armor. So like, I don't think a player who sees Thor is going to get too confused by the tier 2 Thor skin.
I agree.
So like, you could potentially have that in, but there aren't that many tier 2 skins, so whatever.
Yeah. And it's also like
and then you just have a weird rule that like, what's okay, what isn't, and then people are like, well, they could do this, but not this, but... So I think like the current ruling of just like, no skins unless it's a team skin is fine.
Yeah, exactly. No skins unless it's the team skin, or there are some exceptions to the rule, like players that don't, when players come to a general consensus of certain skins, Habwa, for example.
Yeah, because it changes the profile.
Exactly, and so small things like that are a change, like, and it goes both ways. So a player asked us about Cacodemon. They wanted to play Cacodemon, but the model is actually bigger than original Ymir, so no, you can't. And these are the small changes that, like, you know, we keep in mind. So different skins and different things can alter a lot of different things. So in general, it's just sort of like why? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just sort of the benefit or the lack thereof. There really is no benefit to having skins in the broadcast. It's just, you know, it's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, I think skins are cool. And, like, I think skins are the sort of thing that you could totally, like, advertise between games. And, like, it could add to the broadcast instead of supporting from it, you know? Like, it would just, like, all right, we'll be back with Cloud9 versus TSM, and then like it goes to a screen, and maybe it shows the Cloud9 skin, and then the TSM skin, and then it shows like Demon Bologna or something, because they look really cool. So you can actually like have a close up of the skin, and it would look cool. But you know, like just putting them in game is weird. They have different noises and sounds, and that's a concern. Like
Spammy V also brings up, like, if we're talking Lazarus coming down the middle lane, drops the whirlpool, there's the Kraken,
and it's a shark.
It's a shark.
Yeah.
Then the audience is like, this caster is so stupid. He doesn't know anything about the game. If this was Adonis, he'd know what to say.
Right, which is what they always say, honestly. Adonis, man, he always knows what to say. Good job. Yeah, no, totally. I think that's a concern. Man, I don't know. Like, skins are cool, but the other thing is on her with like the pew pew laser skin, right? It changes the sound effects drastically to the point that it can actually be a little disorienting. Because on her's impale is loud as fuck. It goes boom, right?
It's so quiet.
And like the pew pew laser on her's impale is like pew. And, like, that's not what Impale sounds like.
I'm sorry, my headphones cut out. What is it like?
Pew.
My bad.
Pew.
One more time, Krett.
Pew.
Got you. I knew it the whole time.
I know. Anyway, like, it just is weird. Loki skin being quiet. So that's another example, right? If there was a Loki skin where his 3 was quieter than another skin, that would be the best skin to use, obviously.
And that's why you shouldn't use the Halloween Thanatos skin.
Right, because it laughs in the
you're-
jungle and then you get murdered.
I remember when that skin came out last year. It was so funny.
Yeah.
I got it. I was streaming on Smite Game, and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna sneak up behind this guy." And I didn't ult, and I ganked the dual lane. Enemy was pushed up all the way, right? And I'm just coming down the dual lane, ready to throw my scythe, and my character goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." Homie turns around, looks at me, and like I get Ymir frozen and blown up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there was no tell at all, except my character.
Well, and his
they
mini-map.
immediately killed me.
And it's mini.
No, I wasn't on. Like,
Oh, you were around
on
the corner?
reward. Yeah,
Yeah.
I walked right into the lane, but like no.
Oh
minions,
yeah.
no
So he
ward.
only heard you because of the thing. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I was so mad after that game. I was like, "Can I get a refund?"
Yeah. Because like, it's a cool skin until the head like flies. Actually, it looks cool as hell too. It just gives away presents, which I'm kind of thankful for sometimes.
Yeah, it was just a little bit nuts. We just got a sub, by the way, from Firebug. Shout outs to him. He
Yeah,
works
shout
for
outs to
Level Up.
Firebug, who's a Latin American caster.
Yeah, he's a Latin American caster. Works for Level Up. He's been streaming a lot lately
Uh-huh.
too. So
I don't speak Spanish, but I love listening to him cast because he really does sound excited. Like he just
true.
you can
It's
tell he
true.
just loves the game. I have no idea what he's saying, but he loves the game, man. And it's awesome.
And yeah, James ET says he kind of looks like a Latin American F dot. That is not the first time that's been said.
And you usually say no, he doesn't.
Well, it was the fusion. A lot of people said he looked like the fusion of me and you because he's got the glasses and the hat, but is generally Latin American looking like me. So shout out to Firebug.
Is that racist?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
One can look like another. But so, yes, interesting stuff with the skins, I guess. I mean, it's never been something I've been hyper invested in.
Yeah, it's
right?
not like it's not that big of a deal. I mean, like it would be cool to play Convention 2013 Artemis, you know, because like that's a dope skin, but whatever.
Sure. I still don't have it.
That sucks. I got mine from Chris.
Still don't have it. Wow. Brazil playoffs are this weekend. I didn't know that actually.
That's exciting.
So the Brazilian playoffs. So you guys, this is actually really cool because last year, if you guys wanted to ignore the Latin American scene, I probably would say fine. But these guys have had like another year to really work on their stuff, and some of these teams are getting pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Have you got a chance to watch any Latin stuff? Or Brazil for that matter?
I've watched more Latin America than I have Brazil. So Latin America is interesting because it's got a North and a South region, so it has sort of a North America-Europe dynamic. I believe only one gets to go to Worlds, which is, you know, creates a rivalry there. And whereas Brazil is its own different region because they speak a different language. So, you know, like, yeah.
Region. I've been liking the Brazilian region. I think that INTZ has honestly been. Yeah, I've gotten a chance to watch some of their stuff, and they're a good team. You know, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say that they might beat Epsilon, they might beat Envy, but like this is definitely a good squad that could be in the NASPL or the EUSPL. I think that they're.
It's also a really good brand. Like INTZ is pretty freaking big in Brazil.
Yeah. It's interesting. Brazil is an interesting thing when it comes to esports because they're like kind of separated in a lot of regards.
Sure.
But their power brands like INTZ or the League of Legends team that really is featured that is slipping my mind right now. They're big names in their regions. It's so crazy. So INTZ.
Well, I'm pretty sure Brazil is the second largest region for Smite after North America. Yep. So like.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what they can do at Worlds, and I want to see a good team represent them, right? Because like there's so many Smite players who love the game from that region, so hopefully they can do well at Worlds.
It'll be cool because these playoffs will basically these playoffs that are happening this weekend determine who gets to buy to regionals to their regionals. So that'll in turn determine who goes to Worlds.
Totally.
Kaboom. That's who it is. Kaboom. Thank you, Shatton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kaboom is like they have like a Counter-Strike team, and they're spread out amongst esports. It's cool to see the regional stuff really come to life, and especially with Worlds on the distance. You know, it's October, dude.
Doesn't feel like October.
It's freaking October.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, and I haven't spoken to her in a while, right? A couple of weeks. And she's like, "Hey, how have you been? I haven't spoken to you in so long." I was like, "Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks." She's like, "Last time I talked to you was July." I was like, "Yeah, a couple of weeks." She's like, "Dude, it's October."
It doesn't feel like October. It's still hot out, man. I mean, I know I live in Florida, but it's still like hot out.
Yeah.
The hottest day of the year was 2 days ago. All right, shut up.
It was. I mean, I'm in Georgia, dude. It's still. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not used to the weather. So
I love it. Oh man. Dude, I went out at night once. It was cold. I was like, man, I'm glad I don't live in New England. It's like this all the time.
A year in the life of Krett.
Yeah.
I went outside.
I go outside pretty much every day. I just don't often go out at night. Like
at night, it was just once.
Yeah, yeah. What am I gonna do at night? Everything's closed.
I want to see you ride the bike in the darkness.
I did yesterday or 2 days ago. It was cold.
So Krett has a motorcycle now,
yeah,
which I think is hilarious.
Why?
I think it's so funny picturing you ride a motorcycle.
I look like most other people riding a motorcycle because I wear gear.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
Krett riding a motorcycle.
No, I don't. I look like everyone else riding a motorcycle.
No.
Yeah, because everyone looks the same when you've got a jacket and a helmet on.
Do you have a leather jacket, Krett?
No, I have a it's like synthetic.
Do you have one with like all the NASCAR patches on it?
No, it's just a synthetic motorcycle jacket. It's like,
damn it!
Does
it look like a badass jacket?
No, it's like red and white and like super visible, so you don't get hit by cars.
Do you look like you're from the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift?
No, I definitely don't. I don't think they even had motorcycles in that movie.
They totally did.
It was mostly cars.
But they had motorcycles, and I'm sure they wore red and white jackets.
Probably.
What kind of helmet do you have? Do you have a helmet with spikes on it?
No, it's just like a black motorcycle helmet.
Does it have a face mask?
Yeah, it's a full face helmet.
You have a face, so you're walking around looking like fucking Shredder, and you're gonna say you're not funny on a motorcycle?
That's what you wear when you ride a motorcycle.
I know.
Yeah,
but that's oh my goodness. So
dude, like it's just a motorcycle helmet.
So chat's having a ball. So you told me what kind of bike? It's this little so Krett has like this little crotch rocket
Yeah, it's a Honda CBR 500R.
Yeah, it just sounds like Do you speed on it?
No, not really. I'm still adjusting to the bike. Like I'm not gonna do anything.
Do you go fast?
Yeah, like we have most of the roads over here are like 45, 50.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's fun.
If I saw you zoom past me on a motorcycle,
you wouldn't know it was me, dude.
Yes, I would, because it's you, Krett.
I'm glad you would recognize me in full gear with a full face helmet.
I'd be like, "That's Krett on the motorcycle with a face mask." Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I'll have to bring it to Worlds, man.
Oh my god,
yeah,
can you ride your motorcycle to Worlds?
I mean, it's probably a long drive. It's like 8 hours.
If Eager wins Worlds, I will at the very least discuss the ability of having you ride your motorcycle on stage.
That would be fucking awesome.
And just like do a burnout and a wheelie.
I'm not doing a wheelie.
Can you do a wheelie, Krett?
No, dude. I just started riding like 2 weeks ago. This is a horrible idea. I'm trying not to die.
No, do a wheelie, Krett. Your next YouTube video?
Yeah.
Instead of like discussing a very thick, heavy topic, instead, can you just do a wheelie on the motorcycle?
I was actually considering getting a GoPro and having YouTube videos of me discussing thick, heavy topics while I'm riding my motorcycle.
Hey.
That would be dope, right?
Hey. I mean, I already do that. But
but you're in a car. It's less fun.
Oh man, I would. Do you have a motorcycle?
Yeah, dude.
That's out of this world. Does anybody else have a motorcycle
No, I'm the only
on
one.
Eager?
Nah,
Yeah, no.
no, I don't think so. Maybe Polar Bear Mike does.
Oh God,
Polar Bear
so, like,
Mike on a big ass Harley.
So is this? So realistically, was the Honda Series? So like, I mean, realistically, motorcycles
Yeah.
are just like very convenient and economic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get.
Was this little Honda
my
race
tank
rocket, like
my tank goes like 200 miles, and it cost me $5 to fill up. It's the shit.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yup.
yeah, you got me beat. But so did you like want this little like racer bike or?
I was looking more at a sports bike when I started looking into this. I just figured it was a better place to start. They're more nimble and stuff.
I could see you. I basically picture you on like one of the like a classic motorcycle, like
That
a classic
I want my
Harley,
next
like
bike
Jack
to be.
Kerouac or something.
Yeah, no, I've already, dude, it's addicting. I've already picked out my next bike. I know what I want. Now I just
Like,
gotta win worlds.
I picture Krett like, you know, driving this like classic Harley to like down the Florida coast to like his destination is just this one tree in a big field of plains, and he sits down there and puts like a piece of wheat in his teeth and like reads Siddhartha or something. Like that's how I picture
Dude,
your
I fucking
average
hate that book.
You hate Herman Hesse's Siddhartha?
I'm not a
That's
big fan of Siddhartha.
fantastic book. I like that
It's
book a
not my
lot.
thing. I'm sorry, man.
It's not your thing?
All right, so I know what bike I want to get next. Do you want to see it? Because you're actually totally right about it. It's exactly what you're talking about. All right, I linked it in chat for you guys. I'll actually.
That's exactly it.
That's exactly what you thought, right? Here, I'll just put it over Tom's face. See, there you go.
In that back.
It's literally the
back
bike he
compartment-
described.
In that back compartment, you've got a notebook, some pens, a couple of books that aren't Siddhartha,
Yeah.
maybe some tofu. You've got a lot of spot in here.
Exactly, saddlebags, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The dream.
This is definitely a Krett. It's definitely a Krett bike.
I want it, man. I want it.
And while you're
Steve!
under that tree,
Win worlds for me. I need a bike.
and while you're under that tree, you figure out the picks and bans for Eager.
That's right. I sit under the tree chewing wheat, and I go, "Yo, what if we trick everyone into banning Ninja?"
Yo, I love Naja. I'm so happy he's been played a lot.
Dude, they keep banning him.
And you're like, oh no. Are you sure you are? I guess I'll play Sir Cat. Okay.
Oh man,
All right.
you're really like hitting us in the options, man. Oh,
Oh man.
oh fuck.
Get a sidecar? I would not want to be in a sidecar
No.
with you.
No, but you can hop on the back.
I'll get a sidecar. Anyway, so next week is week 9. What's popping in Smite? Actually, so next week will be important.
This week.
Because there's a lot of so this upcoming week, a lot of teams will be qualifying and solidifying their spot for regionals. So, do you know what your magic number is? How many games you have to win, or?
I know that it's possible or like reasonably possible for us to get first, which would be dope. We're currently second now, so we can definitely keep it, right? Like,
Yep.
but the main goal is not to go into Envy's bracket.
Yeah, so
Because there are scrim
fourth.
partners. We don't want to eliminate them, you know? Like, that would suck.
But so you can't be fourth.
We can't be
Assuming-
fourth,
Assuming Envy stays number 1, fourth place plays Envy.
right? Unless, like, if they become second, then we could be fourth, but, like, probably they'll stay number 1. Because looking at Envy, they play us, and then they play Denial, and then they play Cloud9. So
They have Eager, Denial, Cloud9. I mean, Cloud9 is the one good team in those 3 opponents.
yeah, so they'll probably get at least 20 wins. I mean,
They're at 19 now?
yeah, they're at 19 now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, realistically, they 2-0 Denial, and that's I don't think anybody has a discussion.
I mean,
otherwise.
Denial could take a game off of them because like it's Denial.
Denial
but, like,
always has that ability.
yeah,
right?
sure. Denial and
I
Cog,
feel like
man.
Denial's like roll a 6-sided dice. It's roll a 6-sided die. If 5 or 6, you win the game. Like,
Yeah, so basically, in order for us to catch up to Denial, we need to win 6 games, and they need to lose 5.
to
Or
catch up
4.
to catch up to Envy.
To catch up to Envy, yes.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be I think 2-0 happens over Denial, and then realistically split both you and Cloud9. That's sort of where things have been going.
Sure.
So,
And like
I think
if that
we're around
happens,
22.
we're pretty much second, and like I'm down. Once again, we're happy with second, right? Because
Yeah.
the real standings aren't decided until the event, but second is a good space to be for seeding. And honestly, don't want to be first, because first place never wins in Smite. No, seriously, it hasn't.
That's true. It hasn't for a while.
The exception you could argue is TSM in the launch tournament, but I would argue that Cognitive was a higher seed because they were undefeated that season.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
That makes
like,
sense.
even
That
then,
makes
it's like the top seed didn't win any LAN event ever. So, number 2, that's the goal.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, not a bad goal. You guys should have fun. So 2 plays, who 3?
Yeah, 2 plays 3. Well, 2 plays the result of 3 and 5.
Oh,
I think it's 3 and 5,
okay.
but it might be 3 and 6.
All right, so that's fun. So you're looking at a whole plethora of teams because looking at the Pro League, fall split, standing. I mean, it's pretty cutthroat right now for NA.
Mm-hmm.
That you've got Cog and Enemy with 10, Denial with 9, and Cloud9 with 12 wins. We're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So like with week 9 and week 10, these spots can change a lot. So
Sure.
and I anticipate Cog winning. I mean, let's see. How many games do they have? Do they have another power? So Cog plays 2 games in week 9, and they play 2 games in week 10. So 4, 14 and 14. Who do they play? Week 10 they play Enemy, and week 9 they beat Elevate. I think it's possible for Cognitive to have a 500 record. I think it's possible for Cognitive to go 14 and 14. I think they can win their last 4 games.
Yeah, they could.
So it'll be a very interesting.
I mean, because the weird thing about Cognitive, right? Like, I think Cog and Enemy are like the 2 middle of the pack teams. Even though they're tied for 5th, it's just by virtue of like 1 through 4 being so close.
Yeah, Cognitive, they're a team, and I think if they haven't caught a lot of people off guard already,
I think Cog and Enemy
regionals
are 2 different sides of like 2 different sides of the coin for the middle of the pack team. One is just the team that's like pretty standard, they do what everyone else does, but they're, like everyone else is a little bit better at it. Whereas Cognitive is like the middle of the pack team that's just fucking weird, which is what Envy used to be, and now they're not.
Exactly, and these teams that create their own identities are generally the teams that wind up being successful because you see them succeeding while not doing what everybody else does. And I say this almost every freaking broadcast, is when they lose, they kind of lose because of their own fault, right? Like they make mistakes and they don't win.
Who, Cognitive?
So yeah, like they lose off of mistakes.
Well, yeah, sort of, but I think that's like the requirement of their playstyle. Their playstyle is like, we're doing something so weird that it will win unless it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, then like it looks like it's Cognitive's bad, but not necessarily.
Exactly, and I think that's the sort of thing that can be shaken off over time. I think it's very similar to the Envy story, where they were like, all right, Kiki's not our super hyper carry the mid lane, so we're going to make him play a little more supportive. And at first, teams were like, that's why you're 3rd place. And then teams were getting killed by mid lane Athena, right? Like,
and then they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so I think it's a similar story in that regard for Cognitive.
I feel like every mid laner looks at Kiki's God Pool and they're just like,
what?
Are you sure this is your role? Like,
and that's awesome. It's so cool to me that
I know he's a great player.
It's so exciting to me that you've got Kiki playing support mid, and you've got Raffer playing Thor support.
Yeah,
and
playing carry support.
Yeah, and they're the top 2 teams in North America and Europe. I think that's fun. But I think that about wraps it up for this week. I don't really have anything else. Coming up next week, like I said, a lot of the teams will be finishing their journey as far as seeds are concerned. So that we'll have a lot to reflect on and analyze as far as those teams are concerned.
Yeah, the final week Let's look at it really quick. So every other week has been a few more games. It's had the Thursday and Friday games. Final
Right.
week will not in North America. It's just 8 games. Nice and simple. Or 4 games, 8 teams.
Saturday and Sunday. Yep.
Exactly. So, everyone will have 2 more games to play after this week, or 2 more games, 1 more match, and it'll be pretty much locked in, with very little room for upward or downward movement. I'm really excited to see how regionals is going to play out and start prepping for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Really on twitch.tv/fswag. If you just tuned in, you can watch the rest of this episode on my YouTube, youtube.com/Kretuhtuh. And if you want to listen to it as a podcast, I don't know, Hi-Rez handles that. We'll tweet out the link. Catch you guys later. Peace!
Peace.